Alright, what's up? We're back with another video. We're doing redrafting again. This time we're doing the 07 and 08 NFL drafts. Alright, the Raiders, they took Jamarcus Russell first. I mean, that guy's really bad.
Hey man, at least he threw like 70 yards on his knees, but
Yeah, I was thinking one thing. So then one do the Bears drafted, we're gonna jump out of a pool.
So dumb,
it's like,
man.
buddy, yeah, that guy sucked. Right, Russell, I mean, granted he was bad. He didn't have a really good team around him anyway. Alright, so due to our other redrafts, the Raiders at this point have Eli Manning, Tony Gonzalez, Alan Faneca. So I'd say it comes down to Adrian Peterson or Calvin Johnson. I mean, you need Eli Manning. You could use a receiver. We're seeing what he's doing with Odell Beckham, even though he still sucks. So I'd say give him a running back. He never really had a good running back, besides maybe Brandon Jacobs, but he's no Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, not even close.
Adrian Peterson's a once-in-a-generation type player. So give him Adrian Peterson on that team. Next up, the Lions. They currently have Dwight Freeney, Troy Polamalu, Antonio Cromartie, and Steven Jackson. So I'd say they stick with the original pick and just go Calvin Johnson. I mean, they just need offensive playmakers at this point in their team, even though they don't have a quarterback, but they have some solid defensive pieces, a good running back. All right, Browns are up next. At this point, the Browns have McNabb, Brian Urlacher, and Damian Tomlinson. This time I took Joe Thomas. I mean, hey, that was a good pick.
A rare Browns good pick.
Yeah, rare Browns good pick there. So I'd say they go with Patrick Willis right here. They put him with Urlacher next to each other. That's a nasty duo. All right, Buccaneers are up next. They drafted Gaines Adams. He was an alright player, but he had some heart problems and he died. Unfortunately, young in his career. All right, the Bucks. At this point, they have Derek Johnson and Marcus Stroud, so they just need pieces badly. Their great defense is pretty much over. Everyone got old now. So I'd say they go beast mode. At least you have something to build your team around. Just go with a running back. All right, Cardinals are up next. They originally took Levi Brown, who was an offensive tackle. Wasn't anything special. I mean, and that's kind of a waste of a top 5 pick if he doesn't become at least a Pro Bowler. Or at least a consistent starter for you. All right, so I'd say, at this point they have Charles Woodson, Michael Vick, Antrel Roll. So I'd say Darrelle Revis here. All right, next are the Redskins. They have Tom Brady, Sean Alexander, Sean Taylor, Joey Porter, Sean Merriman. So with Tom Brady, you're going to need to protect him. Just go Joe Thomas, who's going to be a Hall of Famer one day. All right, up next, we have the Vikings. So they need pieces too. At this point, they just have Vincent Jackson and Kevin Williams. So I'd say go with Greg Olsen. That way you have something to throw to, I guess.
True, you can never go wrong with a good tight end either.
Yeah, and he's consistent his whole career. All right, up next are the Falcons. The Falcons are actually building a pretty good team here. They have Drew Brees, Jason Peters. So I'd say protect Brees and go with Marshall Yanda here. Those are two probably Hall of Fame offensive linemen there. All right, Dolphins are up next. They have DeMarcus Ware. They haven't really picked much in our redrafts. They've been, I guess, out of the top 15 or whatever we're doing. So with DeMarcus Ware, just give him another defensive piece and go with Eric Weddle. I mean, Eric Weddle, he's a consistent player. He can't really cover much, but he brings smarts, toughness. He's a great tackler.
Yeah.
All right, Texans up next. Remember a couple years ago was the first year the Texans came into the league. So they've chose to build on defense. Right now they have Julius Peppers, Robert Mathis. They have Michael Turner and Brandon Marshall. At this point in the draft, this draft is kind of lacking big players. So I'd say just go with Dwayne Bowe here. I mean, even though Dwayne Bowe, he's not really special. There was a point in his career when he was a top receiver, kind of. Even though the receivers at the time were kind of weak. All right, next, but him and Brandon Marshall on the outside. I mean, you have two good blocking receivers and big threats. Niners up next. They have Aaron Rodgers, Chad Johnson, or Chad Ochocinco, whatever you want to call him, and Jari Evans. So go line, get Joe Staley. Bills up next. Mario Williams, Jason Babin, take John Beeson. The Rams, they were building a good team early on in our draft, but it seems like everyone's getting a lot older now. As a big piece are Jonathan Ogden, Walter Jones, Jerome Bettis, Torrey Holt. So a lot of guys are getting a lot older. They have Lance Briggs and Justin Smith. So go Reggie Nelson here. All right, now we'll move on to 2008. It was a weird draft because this draft was more back heavy. A lot of the good players in this draft, they didn't go till later in the first or second, third, fourth rounds. As you can see here, the top 10 only has 3 Pro Bowlers. All right, so let's go. First pick, the Dolphins. They took Jake Long. It wasn't a bad pick. Jake Long was a multiple-time Pro Bowler, but it seems like his career faded out really fast.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Like most people in this draft, like Matt Ryan, Chris Long, but they're still playing at a high level. But Jake Long, I haven't really heard anything from him in a while.
Yeah, it seems like out of nowhere he just like faded. I don't know if he had injuries or whatever.
Is he even still playing? Or?
I don't even remember. I know he was on some team. I think he was on the Vikings maybe, and he kind of like got destroyed. So I don't know. But the Dolphins, they have Weddle and DeMarcus Ware. Even though I don't know if he's the best player on the draft, but you have to go quarterback here and just take Matt Ryan. That way you build around the quarterback, get the quarterback taken care of early. All right, up next the Rams, they took Chris Long. Oh, that's really weird. Jake Long and Chris Long back to back, but even though they're not related, but still. All right, so right here, Rams, as you mentioned before, a lot of their whole core got older. So they have Briggs, Justin Smith, and Reggie Nelson. It's a tough pick right here because Jerome Bettis is basically done. And there's 3 fantastic running backs who are all very similar and have very similar careers. It's going to be between Hollywood, Jamal Charles, Matt Forte, and Chris Johnson. This one's tough, but I think you have to go with Jamal Charles here. And even though he's been injured lately, the guy has the highest yard per carry of anybody in NFL history. And his offensive line wasn't really that great in the Chiefs. His quarterback sucked too. All right, next up, Falcons. They originally took Matt Ryan. He's gone, but they weren't going to take him anyway because they have Drew Brees. So I'd say go with Jordy Nelson. That way you give Drew Brees a fantastic freaking target. Plus you have Jason Peters and Marshall Yonda on your team, so
that's plenty of time to start up our pocket.
And him and Jordy Nelson, that's going to be the same thing as Rodgers and Jordy.
Except for Drew Brees is in the mold, but that guy's one of the best throwers ever.
Yeah, he could still get the long ball out there too. Right up next, the Raiders. They originally took Darren McFadden here. Darren McFadden, he was okay, but
he just got hurt a lot.
Yeah, he had a lot of injury problems. They have Eli Manning, Tony Gonzalez, and Adrian Peterson. So I'd say go best defender, I'd say probably, and go with Aqib Talib. All right, Chiefs. They have nothing really, so I'd say it's between CJ2K or Forte. I don't know about this. Forte, he's had a more consistent career, but he never, at his peak, he didn't reach the level of Chris Johnson. What is his peak?
Plus, Chris Johnson's always a threat to take it to house every play.
And seeing what the Chiefs did with Jamal Charles and Andy Reid there, I'd say go Chris Johnson over Forte. Jets are up next. They have Terrell Suggs, Marvin Harrison, Nick Mangold, and D'Angelo Hall. Marvin Harrison's probably getting up there in age. I'd say go with the guy who's currently playing for them and go with Forte here. Saints are up next. They have Nnamdi Asomugha, Elvis Dumervil. Go with a good defender here. Go with Calais Campbell. He fits their scheme as well. Jaguars, they have Jamal Lewis, John Henson, Maurice Jones-Drew, Vince Wilfork. Stick with defense. Fill that defense up a little bit. Go with Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. Bengals, they have 2 guys that are getting a little bit old here, and Champ Bailey and Reggie Wayne. But they do have Andre Johnson and some decent linemen. The only thing they're missing is a quarterback. I'd say go Joe Flacco. I mean, he's so-so in the regular season, but once it comes to the playoffs, you never know what's going to happen with him.
Yeah, that's true.
Plus, he has some good weapons around him. He could be pretty good. Next, Patriots. They have lots of Patriots that haven't really been in the top 15 or whatever recently. They have Asante Samuel. So I'd say go with the best running back there, get Ray Rice. Hopefully he doesn't punch his girlfriend again. All right, Bills, they have Mario Williams, Jason Babin, John Beeson. Take the best O-lineman, go with Ryan Clady right there, who's drafted a pick later. Broncos, they have Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler has a big arm. Yeah, as a Bears fan, Jay Cutler, we not a big fan of him. He has a big arm, go with a guy who also has character issues like Jay Cutler. But he worked with Brandon Marshall, so I'd say go with Deshaun Jackson. Jay Cutler could throw it a mile. Deshaun Jackson, he'll catch it. Panthers, stick with the original pick, Jonathan Stewart. Bears, they have Cameron Wake, Bob Sanders, O.C. Miura. Go with Josh Sitton, the guy who currently plays for them. Yeah, no, the Bears pick's bad.
Chris Williams, man.
Chiefs, just go D-line and go with Cliff Averill. All right, and that's pretty much it for now. You could scroll down a little bit if you want and show some of the notable players.
She's got 2 good picks to draft.
Yeah.
Rich Johnson got drafted 24, damn.
Forte didn't go till second
Dane
round.
Brown, he's a good line. He's a really good tackle.
Jordy Nelson, Brandon Flowers.
Brandon Flowers a little bit. He's pretty good.
Yeah, this draft right here.
Calais Campbell, he's real consistent and good end.
Yeah, this draft right here, it didn't really produce too many stars, but it did produce multiple-time Pro Bowlers and solid players.
Round, that's crazy.
Thomas Akud, he's kind of decent.
And that's probably about it.
Yeah, that's about it.
All right. I remember that guy.
All right, guys, stay tuned for the next one. Yeah, Barnes is super old. I didn't even know he's that old.